Hey guys, welcome back. Merhaba bikum. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, subscribing, leaving a comment below. We really appreciate it. Today we're bringing you a lentil fritter. So this is something that I kind of discovered recently, but I really love them. Lokmane and I both really love lentils, so this is a great way to use your leftover lentils if you don't want to just reheat and eat as is. So again, if you're new to our channel, my name's Teresa, Lokmane's behind the camera, and let's get started. Okay, great. So again, this recipe is fairly simple. We're kind of mixing everything in one bowl. We'll put some sesame oil on the stove in a pan, and we'll lightly fry these to toast them up to make them really delicious. But again, if you eat lentils, you know that they're full of nutrients and vitamins, they're full of folic acid, of iron, so many health benefits to lentils or ladis. So we're really excited today to bring you guys a recipe using them. We will come out with just a simple Moroccan style ladis recipe soon, so stay tuned for that. But again, today we're going to be making our fritter, so let's go ahead and see what's in our... Okay, so today's ingredients are lentils that we have already cooked. Today I'm using Moroccan lentils, so that means that they already have lots of spices, some tomatoes, some onions, some really good flavor already just in our lentils. You can cook just basic lentils with some water and some oil, some salt if you would like. And then we're using almond flour, one of my favorites. Again, if you've watched other recipes, we're always grain-free here, so we're always using different types of flours. This is almond flour. We have 1 egg. We'll be frying in sesame oil today. You can fry in any other oil you prefer. I just really like the flavor, and it's a really good high heat oil, so it's perfect for frying. I'm throwing in some fresh cilantro. If you have parsley, you can use parsley. And then I'm adding in some more spice, some paprika, some turmeric, some black pepper. But really feel free to play around with the spices. Maybe add some ground ginger or add some red pepper. Maybe some nutmeg. Really play around with it and have fun. Here in Morocco, you know, it's North African spices, so we spice everything a lot, which I really love. So don't be afraid of spice, just make sure you add some salt. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start blending everything. So I'm just chopping up my cilantro here. You can use parsley instead if you only have parsley, but I'm using about 1/4 cup. You can use a little bit more, a little bit less. I really love cilantro, so that's why we're using about 1/4 cup today. We want to chop it nice and small. So also we're using about 2.5 cups of cooked lentils, which equates to about 1 cup of uncooked lentils. We're using about 1 cup of almond flour, 1 egg, some spices, and the oil for frying. Now today I have slightly less than 2.5 cups of cooked lentils, so I'm using a little bit less almond flour, but again, you can adjust accordingly. But yeah, so let's go ahead and start mixing everything into our bowl. So we do want to make sure that we've strained out all the liquid from the lentils. You don't want to have too much moisture. You want to keep them nice and dry. So I've strained the lentils to make sure that the excess water and oil has strained out. Again, we're using beid bindi. So these are the healthy eggs in Morocco, but we do have to test them, make sure they're good. So we're throwing our flour, our egg, and our lentils in our bowl. So I'm just adding some flour to start to see how my mixture looks, and then I'll add the rest of my flour after. And as I'm mixing with these 3 ingredients, I just want to kind of squish the lentils just to make them a little bit easier to make into a patty form. Okay, so now I'm adding about 1/2 teaspoon paprika, 1/2 teaspoon turmeric, and probably 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Again, my lentils are already salted, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more of salt for the flour and the egg. Okay, Okay, so this looks perfect. This is the perfect consistency. The egg will act as our binder. We have our flour, our spices, our cilantro. So what I'll go ahead and do now is move to the stove, make them into little balls, and fry them up. I'm making balls about this size here. I want to make sure that they're sticking together, and I'll go ahead and put this in my hot pan of sesame oil and maybe a little bit of olive oil. You can combine the two. So again, about this size. You can make them bigger, smaller. You can make them into larger patties or into tiny little mini fritters, but this is about the size that we're going for. So now we want to smash them lightly just to get them the proper thickness. So we don't want them to stay in balls, otherwise they won't cook properly, and we don't want them to be too thin. So we want to leave them on about a medium heat. Our oil got a little hot here, but about a medium heat for, I would say, about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, to make sure they get a nice crisp side here so that they stick together. Lokmane, I'm finished. Aji. Okay, so these are our beautiful lentil fritters that we fried in some sesame oil and a little bit of olive oil if you would like. But they're fantastic. There's so many different ways to eat them. You could eat them with a nice like cashew cream sauce or dip, or you could put a fried egg on top with some pickled onions. You could really treat them almost like a hash brown in the morning. There's so many things to do with them, but they're really delicious. Again, great way to use up your leftover lentils. I do recommend if you're making lentils for this recipe, feel free, like I said before, add some spice in there. Add some turmeric, some black pepper, paprika, cumin, anything that sounds good as those lentils cook. And then before we make the fritter, be sure to add those spices in that I told you earlier. So we're gonna top this with some roasted sesame seeds and a little bit of cilantro and enjoy. So, woo! Great, so we're all finished. We have our delicious fritters. Again, we topped them with some roasted sesame seeds and some cilantro, and they're so nice like that, especially if you fried them in sesame oil. So again, thank you guys so much. Please feel free to like, subscribe, click that little bell. We do have many other recipes. Some of them I'll put up top here. Again, if you do make these fritters and you enjoy them, please let us know below. Let us know what you ate them with, or maybe what spices you used. But again, from Lokmane and I, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next Thursday. Again, every Thursday, a new recipe, and shukran b'zef. Bislama.